Tonight, Zelensky's plea for help.
No Russian missiles can overdo the powerful American Patriot systems.
The president of Ukraine speaking before the country, making an impassioned ask for more aid as Russia makes gains on the front lines. The big question tonight, did he change any minds as the future of Ukraine hangs in the balance? And
until 2 weeks ago, there were about 250 Palestinians living in this village. You can see now it's a ghost town.
Displaced by the thousands. In tonight's Prime Focus, we take you to the West Bank to see how settlers are displacing Palestinians, fueling violence in the region while being spurred on by Israel's far right. Good evening. I'm Phil Lipoff in tonight for Lindsay Davis. This is ABC News Live Prime, and we've got a lot of news to get to on this Tuesday night. We begin with that high-stakes meeting at the White House. President Biden meeting in the Oval Office with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. The two world leaders discussing the impasse in Washington as the fate of additional aid for Ukraine hangs in the balance. Biden and Zelenskyy then taking center stage for a press conference. Biden once again pledging he would not walk away from Ukraine, saying that country's freedom is on the line. Zelenskyy also meeting behind closed doors, pleading with lawmakers in Washington for more aid in the war against Russia. Zelenskyy saying Ukraine is not fighting for its own freedom, but for global democracy. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce leads us off tonight from Washington.
It's a far cry from the hero's welcome he received a year ago, addressing a joint session of Congress. Tonight, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy behind closed doors with lawmakers, pleading for more help against Russia.
Well, Mr. President, welcome back.
In the Oval Office, a warm embrace from President Biden. Biden warning unless Congress approves his request for another $61 billion in aid by the end of the year, Ukraine will run out of money and Russia could win this war.
Putin is banking on the United States failing to deliver for Ukraine. We must prove him wrong. It's stunning that we've gotten to this point.
The president pointing the finger squarely at Republicans.
The host of a Kremlin-run show literally said, and I quote, "Well done, Republicans. That's good for us," end of quote.
Zelenskyy with this plea.
In Ukraine, we are fighting for our country and freedom, and also in Europe, we say for our freedom and yours.
But Republicans won't approve the new aid package unless the president agrees to tough new immigration restrictions.
Our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first. The border is an absolute catastrophe.
The president says he's willing to compromise, but adding this.
Compromise is how democracy works, and I'm ready and offered compromise already. Holding Ukraine funding hostage in the attempt to force through an extreme Republican partisan agenda on the border is not how it works.
Mary joins me now. Mary, President Biden says if Congress does not pass new funding before the break for the holidays this week, they would, quote, give Putin the greatest Christmas gift they can possibly give him. So where do things stand right now?
Well, Phil, tonight there is no clear path forward. It is not clear what is going to satisfy Republicans' immigration demands or where the president is willing to compromise. Biden is warning that they have to get this done before the holiday, but Republican leader Mitch McConnell says that is practically impossible. Phil.
Mary Bruce from the White House tonight. Mary, thank you.
Thank you.
And in the war between Israel and Hamas, U.S. officials say Israel has started to pump seawater into the tunnels under Gaza to chase Hamas fighters out. But that also raises fears for the hostages, including Americans who may be held there as well. This is President Biden warns Israel, quote, they're starting to lose the world's support as more and more civilians die in Gaza. Plus today, the UN General Assembly demanding a humanitarian ceasefire. ABC's James Longman in Tel Aviv tonight.
Tonight, Israel flooding the vast labyrinth of tunnels under Gaza where Hamas leaders are believed to be hiding, according to U.S. officials. This image circulating online shows what appear to be recently laid pipes running from the sea to the shore. The IDF isn't commenting, but Israel's fighting to cripple Hamas's underground tunnel network. But concerns tonight about the safety of the 135 remaining hostages, including Americans, who may remain in those tunnels.
There is assertions being made that they're quite sure there are no hostages in any of these tunnels, but I don't know that for a fact.
And President Biden today with a stark warning to Israel, saying they're starting to lose the world's support because of their, quote, indiscriminate bombing of Gaza. Speaking off camera at a fundraiser, Biden with some of his harshest criticism yet for Prime Minister Netanyahu, calling his government the most conservative in Israel's history. Biden also suggesting the most right-wing Israeli leaders want, quote, retribution, not only against Hamas, but against all Palestinians, saying they don't want a two-state solution. Biden's comments exposing a growing divide between the two leaders. Benjamin Netanyahu saying today he and the president disagree about who will govern Gaza after the war. But Israel's fierce offensive rages on in Gaza. More than 18,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Rafah is Gaza's last refuge, but Israel struck there today, killing more than 20 people. This man screaming, "Where are my children?" before finally finding his son alive, collapsing to the ground in relief. Millions now displaced, facing the growing threat of disease. The UN says more than half of all Gazans are at risk of starvation. And tonight, Israeli special forces have recovered the bodies of 2 hostages during a dangerous and deadly mission inside Gaza. The flag-draped remains of Eden Zakaria and Ziv Dado here being brought back to Israel. During the operation to recover the hostages, Israel says 2 soldiers were also killed and several more injured.
James joins me now from Tel Aviv. James, as we said, U.S. officials confirmed that Israel has started to flood those Hamas tunnels in Gaza. What does that mean for Gaza's infrastructure?
Yeah, Phil, there are 2 potential consequences here. The first is for water treatment, for drinking water. It could contaminate the water system. Now, most of Gaza has been made entirely unlivable already. You've seen most of the buildings have been destroyed. This just makes it even less livable, even more work to do going forward to make it a place that Palestinians could go back to. But of course, also it endangers the lives of these remaining hostages, 135 hostages somewhere in Gaza, and there is every chance they're being held in these tunnels too. Phil.
All right, James Longman from Tel Aviv tonight. James, thank you. And then there is this disturbing display of anti-Semitism inside the parliament building in Poland. An extreme right-wing member of parliament seen picking up a fire extinguisher and then putting out candles on a menorah lit for Hanukkah. The member of parliament was heard later describing Hanukkah as, quote, satanic. His act marred celebrations for the inauguration of a new, more centrist government. Harvard President Claudine Gay is keeping her job. The university's governing board announcing a unanimous decision to stand by her despite the uproar over her testimony at a congressional hearing on anti-Semitism. Some lawmakers and donors called for her to step down. However, more than 600 faculty signed a petition urging the governing board to keep her on. Now to that controversial abortion case in Texas we've been following. The state Supreme Court ruling against a woman seeking to terminate her pregnancy to protect her health and future fertility. That woman having to leave the state to have the procedure. So what happens now? Is she in any legal risk? Here's Rachel Scott.
It was a first-of-its-kind case. A pregnant woman suing her state requesting an emergency abortion. And now the Texas Supreme Court ruling against 31-year-old Kate Cox, whose fetus had a severe condition and little chance of survival.
There's no outcome here, that results in us taking home a healthy baby girl. So it's hard, it's overwhelming.
The Texas Supreme Court saying she didn't qualify for the state's narrow exception to prevent bodily harm or save the life of the mother, stating no one disputes that Ms. Cox's pregnancy has been extremely complicated, but that some difficulties, even serious ones, do not pose the heightened risks to the mother the exception encompasses. Cox going out of state for the procedure. Only 34 abortions have been recorded in Texas so far this year, compared to more than 50,000 in 2020 before that law went into effect. Tonight, several states across the country now grappling with similar abortion restrictions. Today, Arizona's Supreme Court hearing arguments on whether to enact a centuries-old law that would ban abortion at any stage of pregnancy.
For over 100 years, Arizona has fully protected life from the moment of conception.
Abortion is health care. And what that means is that this court's decision will have a profound impact on the ability of pregnant Arizonans to access that health care.
And Rachel joins me now. Rachel, I understand late today, President Biden weighed in.
Yeah, just moments ago, we heard from the president. He called what's playing out in Texas medical and legal chaos. He says that no woman should be forced to go to court or flee the state to get access to health care, Phil.
All right, Rachel Scott, thank you very much. And we want to mention that ABC News will air a special report on this issue, Impact by Nightline on the Brink. Rachel will join Diane Sawyer, uncovering the harrowing stories of pregnant women who have medical emergencies in states with laws restricting abortions, and the physicians who are caught in the middle. Impact by Nightline on the Brink is available to stream on Hulu beginning Thursday. Former Congressman George Santos is in federal court today trying to negotiate a plea deal in his criminal fraud case. He faces a host of charges, including defrauding campaign donors, lying to Congress, and using unemployment benefits to buy designer clothing. He was expelled from Congress 11 days ago, and since that time, in a rather odd turn of events, has launched an account on the Cameo website selling personalized video messages for money. He joins an infamous list of just 6 lawmakers in history to be cast out of the U.S. House. His trial would take place in September. Now to that partial building collapse of an apartment building in the Bronx. Tonight, we're seeing new video of the moment that building gave way, and we're learning that residents were expressing safety concerns for a long time. ABC's Trevor Ault back at the scene for us tonight.
New video tonight shows the moment the corner of this 6-story Bronx apartment building came crashing down, narrowly missing this school bus and several bystanders.
It just sounded like a large boom. It's so close to home.
Crews searching for survivors, digging through the rubble by hand for hours. Some spots 12 feet deep. Miraculously, only 2 people suffered minor injuries. Investigators now piecing together how this happened.
When my kids slipped, a big line is a crack, and they just cover with the plaster.
The building is more than 100 years old. Records showing its owners had been cited for 178 code violations in the past 2 years, including 7 open violations for the facade that gave way. Building records from 2020 show an inspection found cracked brick and loose damaged mortar on the facade.
They are not structural violations. I want to be clear, unsafe facade conditions is not the same as an unsafe building.
And Trevor joins us now. Trevor, what do we know about the people who were displaced here?
Well, there's more than 100 of them, Phil. I mean, you can see behind me there's several bedrooms that are openly exposed, but everyone who lives here in this structure can't go inside for obvious reasons, and most of them are staying in temporary housing with the Red Cross. In the meantime, as this investigation continues, Phil, we've learned one of those citations issued last month was centered on a missing piece in the scaffolding, and it even warned it could potentially cause a structural collapse. Phil.
Trevor Ault from New York City tonight. Trevor, thank you. And tonight we are also learning about 270 Delta passengers stranded in a remote Canadian town for nearly 24 hours. The flight from Amsterdam to Detroit was forced to divert to Goose Bay Airport because of a mechanical problem. It then encountered a series of other delays, from weather to crew shortages and a call for another plane. Here's Alex Perez.
Tonight, the FAA is investigating after Delta passengers bound for the U.S. were stranded for nearly 24 hours at this remote military base in Canada. Delta Flight 135 taking off from Amsterdam Sunday, bound for Detroit with 270 passengers on board when the pilots declared an emergency.
The pilot told us that we had to land there because there was a problem with the de-icer for one of the engines.
The plane diverting to Newfoundland, Goose Bay Airport in Canada.
It was one big giant mess. Nobody knew what was going on.
Passengers stuck on the plane for nearly 16 hours before being taken to nearby military barracks, many without luggage or even coats.
I don't know what day it is anymore.
Exhausted passengers finally making it back to Detroit Monday afternoon.
And Phil, delaying those passengers even more, the crew on the first plane that went to go rescue them timed out. Delta has apologized and the FAA is now investigating. Phil?
All right, Alex Perez tonight. Alex, thank you. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is out today with new inflation numbers showing some progress. The Consumer Price Index, the gauge of inflation, increased 0.1% in November and was up 3.1% compared to a year ago. But that is still a huge improvement when compared to the 9% inflation we saw just last summer. Holiday spending remains strong despite housing costs and some grocery items continuing their punishing rise in price. The Federal Reserve meets today and tomorrow and is expected to keep interest rates steady after hiking the rate 11 times since March of 2022. Now to emotional testimony in the defamation case against former Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani. One of the Georgia election workers at the center of that case testified that Giuliani's actions caused her to fear for her life. Here's Terry Moran.
Rudy Giuliani back in court today and in trouble once again for spreading falsehoods about Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss, the two Georgia election workers suing him for defamation during the Trump effort to overturn the 2020 election.
Ruby Freeman and Shay Freeman Moss and one other gentleman quite obviously surreptitiously passing around USB ports as if they're vials of heroin or cocaine.
Giuliani doubling down on his lies outside the courthouse last night.
Do you regret what you did to Ruby?
Of course I don't regret. I told the truth. They were engaged in changing votes.
There's no proof of that.
Oh, you're damn right there is. Stay tuned.
But there isn't, as multiple investigations have proved. And Giuliani has already conceded in this case that he did defame Freeman and Moss, though he claims it was constitutionally protected speech. This morning, the judge warned Giuliani he could face further defamation claims or contempt of court. Giuliani's lawyer said, he's 80 years old. I can't control everything he does. Today, jurors heard from Shay Moss herself, in tears at times, testifying about years of threats and harassment. The jury hearing voicemails left on her mom's phone.
You're going to jail, Ruby. You're going to get locked up, Ruby. That's election fraud, Ruby. What was on the USB drive, Ruby?
Wishing death upon me.
Shay Moss left her job, went into hiding, and lives in fear, she says, telling jurors today things ain't never returned to normal.
And Terry joins me now. Terry, how much money in damages are these two election workers asking for?
A lot is the short answer, Phil. They're looking from between $15 and $43 million for the damages that they say they suffered at the hands of Rudy Giuliani's lies about the 2020 election. In response, Giuliani's lawyer told the jurors that that top amount, $43 million, would be, quote, the civil equivalent of a death penalty. Phil?
All right, Terry Moran, thank you. And there is still much more to get to tonight on Prime. A violent hit and run caught on camera in Seattle. Why police believe the driver intentionally hit the victims. But next, in our Prime focus, the October 7th terror attack in Israel forced people living in more than a dozen Palestinian villages to flee. Our Patrick Reevell explores what's happening to them now and how Israel's far-right government is fueling this.
Everything is closed. Not only closed, fear. People are so afraid, so terrified about their safety. Many families left.
Whenever news breaks.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines.
From southern Israel. Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight.
We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yes. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. Tonight, President Biden is asking Benjamin Netanyahu to strengthen and change his government if there is to be a long-term solution to the war between Israel and Hamas, warning Israel is starting to lose support around the world as images of bombed-out Gaza and thousands killed are broadcast around the world. In tonight's Prime Focus, we take you to the West Bank, where violence between settlers and Palestinians has been spurred on by Israel's far-right government, leaving thousands displaced. Here's our Patrick Reevell.
This was the Palestinian village of Herbet Zanuta in the West Bank. For decades, the area has been under Israeli military occupation. A few weeks ago, its residents fled, leaving their homes abandoned.
Until 2 weeks ago, there were about 250 Palestinians living in this village. You can see now it's a ghost town.
We've been brought here on a media tour by an Israeli settler group called Regavim. Regavim says its mission is for the, quote, protection of Israel's national lands, including the West Bank.
We're not talking about settler violence. No settler ever stepped foot anywhere near this illegal outpost. No violence ever occurred here.
The group has campaigned for years to remove the villagers, claiming they're squatting illegally, even arranging tours like these, trying to show us why they say the villagers' disappearance is a good thing.
Make yourselves at home in these abandoned homes.
You can see there's a portrait of Yasser Arafat lying smashed on the floor here.
When the war broke out, the people living here, who were no longer supported by the Palestinian Authority that is otherwise engaged right now, realized that this was not in their best, that it was possible that they would be relocated forcibly, or they were afraid that the demolition orders would actually be enforced. It has nothing to do with individual settlers, vigilantes, violence of any kind.
But the people who lived in the village tell a different story.
You live here now and in here.
Faris and his 18 children moved to this nearby Palestinian village, bringing with them their sheep.
You left Zanuta. Why did you leave Zanuta?
احنا تركنا زنوتة غصب عنا. مش بخاطرنا. احنا عشنا هناك. احنا واباتنا وابات اباتنا. نعم 7 أكتوبر انجنوا في الليل ما يناموش هم ما يناموش يسووا لك يعني ويجوك في الليل معهم سووا امي معهم زي الرمح يضرب خزانات المي الميري تبعتنا هذول تبعت الكهرباء يضربهن يكسرهن.
Did the settlers threaten you?
قال حتى كمان قال اذا بتخرجوش من هون احنا بنجيكم في الليل نطخوكم.
Being completely torched.
He shows us photos of the village school, now burned, he says just a few days after we visited. He says his 9-year-old son, Ali, was also beaten.
Did they touch you? Did they hit you?
Since Hamas's October 7th attack, over a dozen Palestinian villages in the West Bank have emptied. More than 1,000 residents saying they were forced to leave their homes, fleeing a surge in threats and violence from settlers. 700,000 settlers now live in over 140 settlements and outposts occupying the West Bank and East Jerusalem. And the Hamas massacre has only emboldened Israel's far right. With over 80% of Gazan civilians already displaced by fighting, far-right Israeli politicians, including some government ministers, are urging the permanent resettlement of Palestinians from Gaza, calling for a second Nakba or catastrophe, the term Palestinians call their mass displacement during Israel's creation.
אנחנו עכשיו מגלגלים בעצם את נכבת עזה, אם תרצה, נכבת עזה.
I think the settlers right now are in an orgy, because they understand that that's their money time. That's their big opportunity.
Even before the war, to keep his coalition together, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave key positions to far-right leaders. Itamar Ben-Gvir, Minister for National Security, seen here recently handing out rifles to Israeli civilians. Bezalel Smotrich, now Finance Minister, this month calling for the resettlement of Palestinians from Gaza. That influence now threatens to shape what happens to Gaza after the war and to sink international hopes for a political solution to the conflict.
We hear voices in the government calling for resettlement of Palestinians from Gaza or a second Nakba. Do you think that's actually possible?
Right now it sounds like a not only horrifying idea, but also an idea that cannot be implemented because the world will never let it happen. And still this government says it's against it. But there are elements in this government whose plan is exactly this.
Hebron was already one of the most restrictive places in the West Bank. An extreme settler community lives inside the Palestinian city. Since October 7th, Israeli forces have put some Palestinian neighborhoods under near total lockdown.
You can see all the shops are closed up. There's no one on the streets here. You can see all the windows have cages on them. People just living behind bars.
We're here to meet Issa Amro, a well-known peace activist.
So you're saying everything is closed?
Everything is closed. Not only closed, fear. People are so afraid, so terrified about their safety. Many families left. Don't touch me!
Issa says he faces daily harassment. In February, an Israeli soldier was filmed assaulting him.
Leave him!
The IDF later jailed the soldier for 10 days and suspended him over the incident. But since October 7th, Issa says things have got far worse.
They handcuffed me, settlers in an army uniform and soldiers. They tied the cuffs to the point that it went into my skin. They blindfolded me, they gagged me, spitting on me, hitting, punishing me in the face, keep beating me, putting the gun on the head, cook it and count to 10.
The IDF declined to comment directly on Issa's allegations, saying it complies with international law.
This is a Palestinian house?
This is a Palestinian house, and the settlers sprayed Star of David on the sign of the house.
That says Star of David?
Yes, Star of David. Not only this house, many other houses.
Issa accuses the government of working with the settlers to intimidate Palestinians. The IDF saying the measures are to prevent terrorism.
It's about displacement. They want this area without the Palestinians.
President Biden has warned Israel to rein in extremist settlers in the West Bank, the State Department announcing visa bans for some settlers linked to violence. But Prime Minister Netanyahu has already signalled opposition. Tzvi Sukkot is a settler leader. So extreme, he was previously banned from the West Bank by Israeli authorities over suspicions he was directing a campaign of violence. But after October 7th, Netanyahu appointed him chairman of a parliamentary committee overseeing the West Bank.
We hear now from some officials saying things like all the Palestinians should leave Gaza. Do you agree with that?
ובתוך המקום הזה צריך לזכור שעזה היום היא מקום שלא טוב לחיות בו, לא כדאי לחיות בו. אני לא ממליץ לה.
What about after the war? Do you see Palestinians still living in Gaza?
לי אין בעיה שיגור פלסטינים בעזה. אני חושב שהם, רבים מהם ירצו ללכת.
Netanyahu has distanced himself from such positions, but with a more aggressive settlement policy than ever, the possibility of a Palestinian state is remote. Faris and his family now trying to rebuild their lives.
يعني انت شايف طلع كل بضاعتنا كلها مرميه برا طلع كيف الوضع يعني كيف يعني بتشوف انت بنفسك كيف بتشوف كيف.
In this conflict, hope seems without a home.
Our thanks to Patrick Reevell. There is still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, a tragic end in the search for a Chicago area teenager missing for nearly a week. But next, the race to hammer out a deal as global climate change talks go into overtime on the final day. We'll break it down by the numbers.
More Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here
along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
You were good friends with Andy Cohen. He literally made you a star.
He didn't make me a star. He made himself a star on the backs of all of these women.
You called it the reality reckoning.
Yes. Reality television exploits affairs, bankruptcy, falling off the wagon.
They're clearly being exploited, but they are absolutely signing up for that.
Are you biting the hand that fed you?
It's time.
Reality Reckoning, now streaming on Hulu.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your...
What are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Reporting from Paris, I'm Britt Clennett. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. The UN Climate Change Conference, also known as COP28, was forced into overtime today as world leaders in Dubai raced to hammer out a deal in the final hours. So as this year's Conference of the Parties comes to a close tonight, a look at the nearly 2-week-long summit by the numbers. On the 13th and final day, closed-door negotiations pushed well into the early morning hours in the United Arab Emirates. At issue, a deep divide between nations over how to deal with fossil fuels after a 21-page draft was issued Monday. That draft suggested 8 options countries could take to cut emissions. One option called for countries to lower consumption and production of fossil fuels instead of phasing them out. The goal there to achieve net zero by, before, or around the year 2050. More than 100 nations, including the U.S., pushed for language to include a phase-out. Looking at other highlights from this year's meeting, 152 countries endorsed the Declaration of Agriculture, Food Systems and Climate Action, which addresses the link between food and climate. In total, more than $7.1 billion was mobilized during this year's summit for climate-positive action in the food sector. Another big announcement, more than 30 country members committed to the Freshwater Challenge, an initiative to protect and restore 30% of the Earth's degraded freshwater ecosystems by 2030. But the fight to save our planet is far from over, with next year's talks already on the calendar starting November 11th in Southwest Asia in Azerbaijan. And there is still much more ahead here on Prime tonight. Our John Carl goes one-on-one with former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, what she says a Trump return to the White House could mean. Plus the epic court ruling involving Google, why a jury says the company violated antitrust laws. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
Important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland.
From Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw.
Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska. Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news. Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. A violent hit and run in Seattle, a major step forward in putting anti-drunk driving technology in cars, and hip-hop legends Wu-Tang Clan are about to make history in Vegas. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
Police in Seattle looking for the driver in a violent hit and run caught on camera. Investigators believe that driver randomly targeted and intentionally hit 2 pedestrians last month. Police releasing surveillance video of the suspects appearing to laugh after they hit their victims. One video showing a person flying over the hood of a car. Police searched the area after the incident but have not been able to locate the victims.
Chicago area police have recovered the body of a missing teenager. Officials say 17-year-old Brissa Romero accidentally drove her car into a pond after failing to navigate a nearby intersection. Police used sonar devices to scan the water, with divers eventually recovering a body. Her car was found in that same area yesterday. Police say there's no indication of foul play, and they're not pursuing any other leads in the case.
Maine's medical examiner is looking at the brain of the alleged Maine mass shooter for possible CTE. The coroner's office sending the brain samples for more testing in Boston. The deceased shooter's military service combined with the deadly events of October 25th has led examiners to study his brain for possible signs of the degenerative brain disease. Soldiers and athletes at the highest risk for CTE due to possible repeated head injuries.
Federal regulators taking another step toward one day putting anti-drunk driving technology in cars. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration putting out a notice that helps lay the groundwork for eventually requiring that car makers include systems that would keep a car from starting if the driver's drunk.
2023 was the warmest Arctic summer on record. That according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. The average surface air temperature from July to September was 43 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the highest temperature recorded since NOAA started keeping records in 1900. In a recent report, the agency noting greenhouse gas emissions are fueling the increasingly warm temperatures in the Arctic. Hip-hop legends Wu-Tang Clan are about to make history. The Grammy-nominated group announcing they will begin a residency in Las Vegas starting in February. This is the first time a hip-hop group has secured a residency on the Strip since the practice became popular in the 1940s. The 9-member group was formed in Staten Island and broke onto the scene in the 90s with hits like Cream and Protect Your Neck. The group's first shows are going to line up with the city's first Super Bowl next year.
A Russian passenger is behind bars tonight after he flew from Denmark to L.A. without a ticket or a passport. The man has pleaded not guilty to being a stowaway. Authorities say he sat in the cabin talking to other passengers and crew members. He was stopped by U.S. Customs agents, where he said he couldn't remember how he got through security. Republican presidential candidates have been weighing in on whether they believe former President Donald Trump should be in office again. For former Congresswoman and January 6th committee Vice Chair Liz Cheney, the question of Trump's fitness for office is a clear no. She sat down with This Week co-anchor John Carl to discuss her new book, Oath and Honor, warning about what a Trump return to the White House could mean.
Realistically, do you think at this point there's still a chance that Republican voters in this primary will reject him?
I think there's a chance. I don't think it's a done deal.
How much of a chance?
I think a small one, maybe a very small one. I think certainly if you look at the polls, he's leading. Of course, his criminal trial in the January 6th case is set to begin right around the time of Super Tuesday. I think that it's still possible that Republican voters will not end up nominating him, but certainly it looks that that's the direction we're headed in.
I mean, the calculation the others seem to have made, at least Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, is that they can't alienate Trump's voters if they're to have any chance of winning. Aren't they? I mean, isn't there something to that? I mean, look what happened to you. I mean, you took Trump on, and the voters in your own state, the Republican voters, turned on you.
I think that that there's a cause and effect problem that those other candidates have, which is sort of thinking of themselves as at the whim of the political winds and forces, rather than recognizing that they have the ability and the obligation and the responsibility to educate voters and to try to change things, and not to simply be bystanders. Everybody needs to stand up and speak out. You know, we've gone down a path where people thought, well, if we ignore him, he'll go away. And obviously that's not the case.
You write, if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee in 2024, we must do everything we can to defeat him. So it seems to me that if he wins, that leaves you with three choices. You could either vote for or support Joe Biden, vote for or support a third-party candidate, or run yourself. Am I right? Is that basically the universe of options?
I think that's a good description.
And how do you assess those three right now?
Neither party has selected their nominee yet. It looks like it's most likely to be Donald Trump and Joe Biden, but we don't know that for sure. And I think that it's going to require making an assessment about sort of how we can most effectively mobilize people in both parties and mobilize independents, frankly, to stand against Donald Trump. I think You know, there's a lot that has to be done to begin to rebuild the Republican Party, potentially to build a new conservative party. But in my view, that has to wait until after the 2024 election, because our focus has got to be on defeating Donald Trump.
But running as a third party or no labels candidate is a distinct option for you this time.
I haven't ruled anything out. I really am going to take the next couple of months and look at what is going to be the most effective path to ensure the defeat of Donald Trump.
And you've heard Democrats very forcefully say that no labels. I mean, some even suggest it's a stalking horse for Trump. But regardless, that a third-party candidate simply elects Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're assessing this now, but do you think there's something to that?
Certainly, I'm not going to do something that has the impact of helping Donald Trump.
Right.
I think that, you know, we're already in a situation in terms of the election next year where we have a third party, we have independent candidates. So you're going to have a fractured electorate. And I think that, again, the whole question is, you know, what do we do to defeat the man who is an existential threat to our republic?
And if there is a real fractured electorate, there's a real possibility nobody gets the majority of the electoral votes. It goes to the House, obviously.
Right.
Under its current makeup, that would be the Republicans in the House.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that's just crucially important in this next cycle, which is obviously working to elect candidates who believe in the Constitution. I've expressed very clearly my view that having Mike Johnson as the Speaker, having this Republican majority in charge, you can't count on them to defend the Constitution at this moment.
I want to play an audio clip from you from a conversation I had with Donald Trump just less than 3 months after January 6th, where I asked him if he really wanted to go to the Capitol, as he said in that speech.
I was thinking about going back during the problem to stop the problem, doing it myself. Secret Service didn't like that idea too much. I could have done that, and you know what? I would have been very well received. Don't forget, the people that went to Washington that day, in my opinion, they went because they thought the election was rigged.
Isn't that right there an admission by Trump himself of his own culpability?
Yes, and it also tells you that he was fully aware that the crowd would follow his instructions, and that had he stood up and told people to leave at any moment, they would have done so, as we know they did when he finally did tell people to leave. I think that, you know, one of the things that's really important throughout all of this is Donald Trump's intent. And we see again and again sort of the premeditation for this whole plan, the premeditation to claim victory, but also the fact that while the violence was underway and the electoral vote was stopped, the armed mob at that point was carrying out his wishes. They were achieving the objective that he had been trying to achieve through multiple plans and purposes all along, and they were following his instructions. You look at hundreds now of the criminal defendants who have said, yeah, I was there because Donald Trump told me to come.
And you yourself have faced all kinds of threats, and others who voted to impeach and others who have stood up for him have faced those threats. You talk about a Republican who wanted to vote for impeachment but was worried not just about his own safety but his family's safety. So there was concern, and there still is concern, about retribution.
What a sad thing it is that we're living in a country today where you have elected officials who are facing the threat of physical violence because of a former president. You know, this isn't sort of the threat of physical violence because of terrorist organizations or outside entities. This is the threat of violence because of a former president of the United States. And I think we have to be very careful as a country that we stop and we think about what that means and the path that we're going down when that is the case.
And in fact, Kevin McCarthy told me himself just 3 days after January 6th that he was worried about this. I'm going to play you a clip from a conversation that I had on January 9th.
And what's real crazy is back in our district, there's tons of people who are ready to storm the Capitol again. I just don't know about these people.
I mean, you've written about McCarthy making a lot of wrong decisions, but in that moment, he sounds like he's genuinely fearful about more violence.
One of the things that was striking to me in writing the book was it was absolutely clear in those days just after the 6th, on the calls that we were having in leadership, Kevin McCarthy was very clear and very strong about the potential for violence against members of the House. You know, he actually understood reality and was being responsible in the beginning, but it didn't take long until the political necessity of appeasing Donald Trump caused him to take a different path.
You've said that if he's the nominee, you're no longer a Republican. That's still the case?
For sure.
Do you see evidence that there's an appetite in the country for a new party?
I think that there's appetite in the country certainly for a return to honor in politics, for a return to honesty. And I think that people sort of lived through what's happened over the last several years, lived through the Trump presidency, and you know, they want to know that their leaders are people that, you know, they could say to their kids, you should be like this person. And that's a feeling that stretches across party lines.
And it is too early, but I'll ask it anyway, to ask a legacy question. I mean, what will people say about you?
I hope that they will say she did the right thing and that she put the country ahead of politics and ahead of partisanship at a moment when it really mattered.
And that project is, in your mind, just getting started?
Certainly. I mean, look, I think, again, once we get through this election cycle and we defeat Donald Trump, I think there's clearly a huge amount of work that has to be done to restore, you know, to right the ship of our democracy.
Our thanks to John Carl for that interview. And now to the new verdict in a case that could have major consequences for U.S. consumers. ABC's Andrew Dimbert explains.
A federal jury has found Google guilty of violating antitrust laws on its Android operating system.
This decision is the first major courtroom victory for regulators and, you know, sort of rivals that have been complaining for years that Apple, Google, Microsoft, other big tech companies are illegal monopolists.
The case was brought by video game maker Epic Games, which sued Google in 2020 after the tech giant delisted Epic's hit game Fortnite from its app store, Google Play. Google removed the game because it allowed players to make in-app purchases directly from Epic, bypassing the fee Google typically charges. But a jury yesterday sided with Epic on all counts.
The jury found that Google broke antitrust laws by restricting the ability of app developers, wireless carriers, device makers to freely promote alternatives to Google Play and to Google's billing tools.
Epic CEO writing victory over Google and free Fortnite. In the coming months, a judge will decide whether to order changes to Google's business practices, which could mean big changes for the App Store used by hundreds of millions of people worldwide.
One of the big things that could come about here for users is more options in terms of apps at lower prices.
But Google is vowing to appeal the verdict, saying the trial made clear that we compete fiercely with Apple and its App Store, as well as app stores on Android devices and gaming consoles. Epic previously lost a similar legal fight against Apple concerning apps on the iPhone due to different business structures.
Our thanks to Andrew Dimbert. Our next guest is a proud Mexican Latin Grammy-winning artist with more than 30 million Spotify monthly listeners and 4.2 million Instagram followers and counting. 2023 has been one of the most successful years of his career, making his way up the Billboard Hot 100 on multiple occasions, taking home a Latin Grammy and completing a 38-arena sold-out tour across the U.S., proving his music is anything but just regional. Take a listen.
Pásame el tip, porque aunque no lo quiera aún, te sigo amando.
Karen Leon joins us now in studio. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Your latest studio album, Con Miel de Leche, has received widespread critical praise, and fans love it. Why do you think fans are taking to this? Why do you think it's hitting the way it is?
I think because this album for me, it was like my love letter to the music, like the music that I've always wanted to show to my people and to my audience. And so because of the honesty of this album, I think it's like, you know, that sparkly.
Part of that is, you know, we mentioned it's not just regional music. I know a lot of artists don't like labels. And you had an Instagram campaign about this saying your music really isn't just regional. I mean, you've had global success. So why should people not label music?
Yeah, I think like labels made a lot of damage since a long time ago to the music, and it's more like something like an inspirational message for the artists and for the audience to break the limits of their heads and to think on a globalization of our music and our culture can be in every part of the world. That's inspiration.
Do you think Mexican artists are represented enough in the broader Latin music community?
Yeah, I think like Mexican music now it's going through the best moment of historically, and now I'm very proud to be part of this, and I think that this gives us a lot of identity to the Mexicans and to our music, and I think that's why the success right now of our music, because it's very identifiable, like you know, like for us it's like a proud for us to have our music, you know, in the world, and you know, we are very proud of it.
Your recent single with Maluma, Según Quién, has been streamed, I want to get this right, hundreds of millions of times, more than 200 million views on YouTube. Tell me about the collaboration, how you two came together.
It was very natural, it was very easy. You know, Maluma is a big friend, he's a big person. And, you know, when you have this person like wanted to do the music and just giving love to the music and nothing else matters, like, it doesn't matter the numbers, it doesn't matter the audience that you can bring. It doesn't matter if it's a hit. If you have a good time making music with your friends, it always happens, and that will happen with Según Quién.
One of the things I love about your music is how there are so many different instruments used. Yeah. I saw a lap guitar used at one point with that great country sound in it. How fun is it to make the music you're making?
No, you know, I've grown listening a lot of music, and you know, a musician is what he hears, and you know, and I've heard a lot of music since I was a kid, and I was like, you know, very interested in put all those sounds of all my artists of other genres and get a mix together with my genre and do this for me, and for more instruments, more colors to do my masterpiece, you know.
Looking ahead, you're performing at the already sold-out Stagecoach 2024 alongside artists like Jelly Roll, Willie Nelson. What is that going to be like for you, and what does that mean for the future of Música Mexicana?
Oh, for me, it's something that makes me very proud to be one of the first Mexican artists on Stagecoach, and
that's a huge deal.
Yeah, being with those legends like Willie Nelson, for me it's incredible. I cannot believe it yet, but you know, it's a big responsibility too, and I'm very proud that we're gonna do a big show over there and get a Mexico place in the country music.
Beautiful. Well, continued success, Karen Leon. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it, and you can find Comilo de Leche wherever you stream your music.
Thank you so much.
And that's our show for this hour. I'm Phil Lipoff. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. And coming up in the next hour, President Biden and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy holding a high-stakes meeting at the White House, their urgent message for lawmakers in Washington. Plus, the Texas Supreme Court ruling against the woman seeking an emergency abortion, what it means for the legal threats against her, and potential future cases.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
We're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
You were good friends with Andy Cohen. He literally made you a star.
He didn't make me a star. He made himself a star on the backs of all of these women.
You called it the reality reckoning.
Yes. Reality television exploits affairs, bankruptcy, falling off the wagon.
They're clearly being exploited, but they are absolutely signing up for that.
Are you biting the hand that fed you?
It's time.
Reality Reckoning, now streaming on Hulu.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it. Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yes. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas,
Edinburgh, Scotland.
reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Phil Lipoff in for Lindsay Davis tonight. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We've got a lot of news to get to tonight, including Ukrainian President Zelenskyy speaking before this country, making an impassioned ask for more aid as Russia makes gains on the front lines. Plus reports from U.S. officials that Israel is now flooding Hamas tunnels in order to root out militants. And George Santos pursues a potential plea deal just days after being expelled from Congress. That high-stakes meeting at the White House, President Biden meeting in the Oval Office with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the two world leaders discussing the impasse in Washington as the fate of additional aid for Ukraine hangs in the balance. Biden and Zelenskyy then taking center stage for a press conference. Biden once again pledging he would not walk away from Ukraine, saying that country's freedom is on the line. President Zelenskyy also meeting behind closed doors, pleading with lawmakers in Washington for more aid in the war against Russia. Zelenskyy saying Ukraine is not fighting for its own freedom, but for global democracy. Leading us off, ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
It's a far cry from the hero's welcome he received a year ago, addressing a joint session of Congress. Tonight, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy behind closed doors with lawmakers, pleading for more help against Russia.
Well, Mr. President, welcome back.
In the Oval Office, a warm embrace from President Biden. Biden warning unless Congress approves his request for another $61 billion in aid by the end of the year, Ukraine will run out of money and Russia could win this war.
Putin is banking on the United States failing to deliver for Ukraine. We must prove him wrong. It's stunning that we've gotten to this point.
The president pointing the finger squarely at Republicans.
The host of a Kremlin-run show literally said, and I quote, "Well done, Republicans. That's good for us," end of quote.
Zelenskyy with this plea.
In Ukraine, we are fighting for our country and freedom, and also in Europe, we say for our freedom and yours.
But Republicans won't approve the new aid package unless the president agrees to tough new immigration restrictions.
Our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first. The border is an absolute catastrophe.
The president says he's willing to compromise, but adding this.
Compromise is how democracy works, and I'm ready and offered compromise already. Holding Ukraine funding hostage in the attempt to force through an extreme Republican partisan agenda on the border is not how it works.
Mary joins me now. Mary, President Biden says if Congress does not pass new funding before the break for the holidays this week, they would, quote, give Putin the greatest Christmas gift they can possibly give him. So where do things stand right now?
Well, Phil, tonight there is no clear path forward. It is not clear what is going to satisfy Republicans' immigration demands or where the president is willing to compromise. Biden is warning that they have to get this done before the holiday, but Republican leader Mitch McConnell says that is practically impossible. Phil.
Mary Bruce from the White House tonight. Mary, thank you.
Thank you.
In the war between Israel and Hamas, U.S. officials say Israel has started to pump seawater into the tunnels under Gaza to chase Hamas fighters out. But that also raises fears about the hostages, including Americans who may be held there as well. This as President Biden warns Israel, quote, they're starting to lose the world's support as more and more civilians lose their lives in Gaza. Plus today, the UN General Assembly demanding a humanitarian ceasefire. ABC's James Longman in Israel tonight.
Tonight, Israel flooding the vast labyrinth of tunnels under Gaza where Hamas leaders are believed to be hiding, according to U.S. officials. This image circulating online shows what appear to be recently laid pipes running from the sea to the shore. The IDF isn't commenting, but Israel's fighting to cripple Hamas's underground tunnel network. But concerns tonight about the safety of the 135 remaining hostages, including Americans, who may remain in those tunnels.
There is assertions being made that they're quite sure there are no hostages in any of these tunnels, but I don't know that for a fact.
And President Biden today with a stark warning to Israel, saying they're starting to lose the world's support because of their, quote, indiscriminate bombing of Gaza. Speaking off camera at a fundraiser, Biden with some of his harshest criticism yet for Prime Minister Netanyahu, calling his government the most conservative in Israel's history. Biden also suggesting the most right-wing Israeli leaders want, quote, retribution, not only against Hamas, but against all Palestinians, saying they don't want a two-state solution. Biden's comments exposing a growing divide between the two leaders. Benjamin Netanyahu saying today he and the president disagree about who will govern Gaza after the war. But Israel's fierce offensive rages on in Gaza. More than 18,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Rafah is Gaza's last refuge, but Israel struck there today, killing more than 20 people. This man screaming, "Where are my children?" before finally finding his son alive, collapsing to the ground in relief. Millions now displaced, facing the growing threat of disease. The UN says more than half of all Gazans are at risk of starvation. And tonight, Israeli special forces have recovered the bodies of 2 hostages during a dangerous and deadly mission inside Gaza. The flag-draped remains of Eden Zakaria and Ziv Dado here being brought back to Israel. During the operation to recover the hostages, Israel says 2 soldiers were also killed and several more injured.
James joins me now from Tel Aviv. James, as we said, U.S. officials confirmed that Israel has started to flood those Hamas tunnels in Gaza. What does that mean for Gaza's infrastructure?
Yeah, Phil, there are 2 potential consequences here. The first is for water treatment, for drinking water. It could contaminate the water system. Now, most of Gaza has been made entirely unlivable already. You've seen most of the buildings have been destroyed. This just makes it even less livable, even more work to do going forward to make it a place that Palestinians could go back to. But, of course, also it endangers the lives of these remaining hostages, 135 hostages somewhere in Gaza, and there is every chance they're being held in these tunnels too. Phil.
All right, James Longman from Tel Aviv tonight. James, thank you. Harvard president Claudine Gay is keeping her job. The university's governing board announcing a unanimous decision to stand by her despite the uproar over her testimony at a congressional hearing on anti-Semitism. Lawmakers and donors called for her to step down. However, more than 600 faculty signed a petition urging the governing board to keep her on. Now to that controversial abortion case in Texas. The state Supreme Court ruling against a woman seeking to terminate her pregnancy to protect her health and her future fertility. That woman leaving the state to have the procedure. So what's happening now, and is she at any legal risk? Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
It was a first-of-its-kind case. A pregnant woman suing her state requesting an emergency abortion. And now the Texas Supreme Court ruling against 31-year-old Kate Cox, whose fetus had a severe condition and little chance of survival.
There's no outcome here, that results in us taking home a healthy baby girl. So it's hard, it's overwhelming.
The Texas Supreme Court saying she didn't qualify for the state's narrow exception to prevent bodily harm or save the life of the mother, stating no one disputes that Ms. Cox's pregnancy has been extremely complicated, but that some difficulties, even serious ones, do not pose the heightened risks to the mother the exception encompasses. Cox going out of state for the procedure. Only 34 abortions have been recorded in Texas so far this year, compared to more than 50,000 in 2020 before that law went into effect. Tonight, several states across the country now grappling with similar abortion restrictions. Today, Arizona's Supreme Court hearing arguments on whether to enact a centuries-old law that would ban abortion at any stage of pregnancy.
For over 100 years, Arizona has fully protected life from the moment of conception.
Abortion is health care. And what that means is that this court's decision will have a profound impact on the ability of pregnant Arizonans to access that health care.
Our thanks to Rachel Scott. Now to emotional testimony in the defamation case against former Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani. One of the Georgia election workers at the center of this case testified that Giuliani's actions actually caused her to fear for her life. Here's ABC's Terry Moran.
Rudy Giuliani back in court today and in trouble once again for spreading falsehoods about Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss, the two Georgia election workers suing him for defamation during the Trump effort to overturn the 2020 election.
Ruby Freeman and Shay Freeman Moss and one other gentleman quite obviously surreptitiously passing around USB ports as if they're vials of heroin or cocaine.
Giuliani doubling down on his lies outside the courthouse last night.
Do you regret what you did to Ruby?
Of course I don't regret. I told the truth. They were engaged in changing votes.
There's no proof of that.
Oh, you're damn right there is. Stay tuned.
But there isn't, as multiple investigations have proved. And Giuliani has already conceded in this case that he did defame Freeman and Moss, though he claims it was constitutionally protected speech. This morning, the judge warned Giuliani he could face further defamation claims or contempt of court. Giuliani's lawyer said, he's 80 years old. I can't control everything he does. Today, jurors heard from Shay Moss herself, in tears at times, testifying about years of threats and harassment. The jury hearing voicemails left on her mom's phone.
You're going to jail, Ruby. You're going to get locked up, Ruby. That's election fraud, Ruby. What was on the USB drive, Ruby?
Wishing death upon me.
Shay Moss left her job, went into hiding, and lives in fear, she says, telling jurors today things ain't never returned to normal.
Our thanks to Terry Moran. The state of New York will redraw its congressional districts ahead of the 2024 elections. The state's highest court ruled that today. Republicans wanted to keep the current district maps that helped them flip the state, but New York's bipartisan independent redistricting commission will now be tasked with determining the new districts. With control of the U.S. House at stake in 2024, the New York Court of Appeals decision will have major ramifications, as the redrawn maps are expected to give Democrats an advantage. Now to that partial building collapse of an apartment building in the Bronx. Tonight, we are seeing new dramatic video of the moment when that building gave way, and we are learning that residents have expressed safety concerns for a long time now. ABC's Trevor Ault back at the scene.
New video tonight shows the moment the corner of this 6-story Bronx apartment building came crashing down, narrowly missing this school bus and several bystanders.
It just sounded like a large boom. It's so close to home.
Crews searching for survivors, digging through the rubble by hand for hours. Some spots 12 feet deep. Miraculously, only 2 people suffered minor injuries. Investigators now piecing together how this happened.
When my kids sleep, a big line is a crack, and they just cover with plaster.
The building is more than 100 years old. Records showing its owners had been cited for 178 code violations in the past 2 years, including 7 open violations for the facade that gave way. Building records from 2020 show an inspection found cracked brick and loose damaged mortar on the facade.
They are not structural violations. I want to be clear, unsafe facade conditions is not the same as an unsafe building.
Trevor Ault from New York City tonight. A mom who thought she was experiencing flu symptoms was actually having a heart attack. She was able to get help and now sharing a warning for other women. It is a story that was first seen in Business Insider, and ABC's Eva Pilgrim has it.
I thought I was coming down with the flu or the upper respiratory infection or something.
After COVID and the flu moved through her family in 2022, 48-year-old Jenna Tanner felt like she was coming down with something too.
I was having fleeting pains in my chest that I really thought I thought it was my lungs. I didn't want to tell my husband because I knew he would say, we have to go straight to the hospital. And I didn't want to go spend any more time in waiting rooms at the doctor's office, so I ignored it.
Ignoring the pain almost cost the Oklahoma resident her life. 2 days later, she says she passed out. When she awoke, she knew instantly she was having a massive heart attack.
It felt like an elephant was sitting on me. I couldn't move at all. It was very scary.
Although heart disease is the #1 killer of women in the U.S., experts say women are more likely to ignore and downplay symptoms.
Women can typically present with symptoms unrelated to chest pain, and I think that's one of the reasons why they get downplayed, mainly because it doesn't feel typically like what you think a heart attack would feel like.
While the most common heart attack symptom for men and women is chest pain, women may sometimes only experience shortness of breath, nausea, and back, shoulder, or jaw pain.
All of these symptoms, when they happen suddenly, you have to pay attention because they might be a sign of something more sinister.
Tanner dragged herself to her cell phone 2 rooms away and called for help. 3 surgeries and 2 stents later, she is doing better and has a message for other women.
Heart health for women is important. Don't ignore heart pain. Even if you think it's your lungs, even if you've been to the doctor 20 times in the last 2 months with your children, just make sure you take it seriously.
Thanks to Eva Pilgrim. There's still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, a journey into the world of mythology. We're going to talk to author Rick Riordan about his best-selling book series that's being adapted now into a new Disney Plus original series. But next, what sportswear giant Puma is saying about its decision to end its collaboration with Israel's national soccer team.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Everything is so fine. Little bit of sunshine. Some more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more in a minute. I've been running through this strange life. Pictures on my phone life. Everything is so fine. Little bit of sunshine. Good morning, America.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yeah.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Reporting from Hiroshima, I'm Brett Clennitt. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We are tracking several headlines around the world right now. Argentina announcing a sharp devaluation of its currency today. The country's economic minister says the peso will be devalued by more than 50% to 800 per dollar. He also announced cuts to energy and transportation subsidies aimed at fixing the country's worst financial crisis in decades. Argentina is suffering from a 143% annual inflation. It's estimated 4 in 10 people there are living in poverty. German sportswear giant Puma says its decision to end its collaboration with Israel's national soccer team next year was made long before the current Israel-Hamas war. Puma says the decision was made last year and based solely on business reasons. Puma has faced calls for consumer boycotts over its contract with the Israeli Soccer Association. Thousands of people sang the traditional Mexican birthday song at the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City today to honor the Virgin on the 492nd anniversary of her apparition. The statue was built next to the hill where Catholics believe Mary, the mother of Jesus, appeared to an Aztec man in 1531. Time for the latest in our series Streamlined, where we bring you some of the biggest films and TV series hitting screens worldwide, speaking with some of the actors and creators behind them. Tonight, let's journey into a world of mythology, shall we? Best-selling book series Percy Jackson and the Olympians is being adapted into a new Disney Plus original series, where young demigod Percy Jackson goes on a thrilling journey of danger and self-discovery. The creator of this an incredibly popular universe, #1 best-selling author Rick Riordan. After being accused of stealing Zeus's master lightning bolt, Percy embarks on a cross-country quest to clear his name and restore order to Olympus to prevent a war among the gods. Along the way, he faces monstrous creatures, befriends fellow demigods, and uncovers the truth about his own origins. Let's take a look.
Percy Jackson, your father needs your help. The Master Bolt has been stolen. If you don't return the bolt, there will be war. That is your quest.
All right, I'm sold. Author Rick Riordan joins us now in studio. Rick, it's so good to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much.
I knew your name long before I knew you, as my kids loved your books growing up, like so many do. Before we jump into the series, background for some who might not know, you started as a teacher.
I did. I was a middle school teacher in California and in Texas, public and private school, for 15 years. So I know that age very well.
That's why you went with mythology, right?
Yes. I mean, every year that I taught it, Greek mythology was a hot topic with my students. At that age, for whatever reason, these stories just really resonate. And I was very happy to tap into that when I started Percy Jackson.
Yeah, and so there's Percy Jackson, and there are the books and movies, and now this series. I mean, it's tough to ask this question because when you're writing your first book about this, I'm sure you're unsure about it, but did you ever think it would get to this point?
No, not at all. Actually, the story of Percy, the story of the Lightning Thief, the first novel, began as a bedtime story for my own son when he was 9 years old. And he was struggling with ADHD and dyslexia at home. Homework was very difficult for him, so I began telling him Greek myths because he loved them at that age too. And when I ran out of the original ones, I made up a new one, Percy Jackson, to show him that if you have ADHD and dyslexia in Percy's world, it's a pretty good sign that you're a demigod and you're very special indeed.
It's a superpower, right?
Absolutely.
In the series, 12-year-old Percy Jackson discovers his newfound identity as a demigod, thrust into this world of gods and monsters. Let's take a quick look.
You won't be alone. A quest is always undertaken by 3.
Demigods process reality differently. We gotta figure out what you're good at.
Should I try again?
No!
So talk about finding these, newfound powers, and there is a connection with accepting yourself, right? Self-acceptance.
Yes, absolutely. What we like to say is that whether your difference is a learning difference or whether it's that you come from a different place or that you have a different outlook, whatever it is that makes you different, that is not a weakness. That is a strength. And as you said, it can be a sign of greatness, a kind of a superpower.
After being accused by Zeus, which that's being accused by Zeus, of stealing his master lightning bolt, Percy goes on this journey across America to find and restore order in Olympus. How does this particular quest impact his understanding of his own identity and his place in the world?
Well, Greek mythology is always about the hero's quest. You leave home, you have a challenge, you change yourself, you become the hero you are meant to be, and you return home, hopefully, a better person for it. Almost all Greek myths boil down to that. But that's a metaphor for what most of us go through in life, too. All of us have our own quest. All of us face our own monsters, if you will, and our own challenges. And Percy's happens to be a road trip across the United States, fighting all these monsters from Greek mythology, but he's also learning who he is and what powers he has.
It really is an amazing world you've created for so many to get lost in. I really love it.
Oh, thank you.
Rick Riordan, thanks so much for joining us. Percy Jackson and the Olympians will premiere December 20th on Disney+. Disney, by the way, is the parent company of ABC News. It's very cool. Still to come, the real-life Polar Express making dreams come true this holiday season.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Finally tonight, the Polar Express coming to life. New Jersey Transit's River Line partnered with Ronald McDonald House of South Jersey to make dreams come true this holiday season. Reporter Becca Hendrickson with our partner station WPVI in Philadelphia has tonight's local lowdown.
All aboard the River Line in Camden, New Jersey.
Merry Christmas.
A little hard work.
We got like some snowflakes, some snow.
And holiday cheer.
All together, it just looks cute and festive and cozy.
Has transformed this rail service.
Welcome to the Polar Express.
Into the Polar Express.
We've been preparing for it all week. So to see this come to fruition with the children, we're very excited.
The River Line has been doing this since 2017. The 25 kids boarding the train are in for quite the treat, each equipped with a ticket to the North Pole.
Takes me back to my childhood. Takes me back to coming down on Christmas Day, seeing presents, knowing that there's a surprise.
They're all far away and from their homes, and this brings them a sense of just wonder and joy.
Joy, that's all over 2-year-old Amanda's face. Her mom is so excited to give her this experience.
With the time, it's family too, with you, and it's nice.
For the families on board, it's a cheerful reminder that as we learn from the Polar Express, the true spirit of Christmas lies in each of our hearts.
This is the season to give back. It's a season to remember that there are those that are less fortunate who need to have a great time and still believe in Christmas.
A cheerful reminder indeed. Our thanks to Becca Hendrickson from WPVI in Philadelphia. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Phil Lipoff. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. And you can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
on the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.